Hello and welcome. My name's Super Saiyan and welcome to your weekly news and pre-order video. Apologies that I couldn't make one of these videos last weekend. Had a little trip over to the Lake District. Really enjoyed it. Stunning scenery. I put a photo on Instagram. But anyway, I'm back now. I'm trying to get through all of the Conquest releases and videos with the occasional White Dwarf video and things like that. I've got a lot of work to do on the channel and I hope you'll enjoy all the new content that's coming out. If you do want to support the channel other than watching the videos, liking the videos and subscribing, I do have a Patreon where you can just donate to the channel, and that helps me try and get all of the new releases, even for armies that I don't typically collect. And then I can bring you, unboxing and review videos and try and cover all of them. I would really love to be in a position to cover all of the Sisters of Battle releases when they drop. So any support, even like $1 a month, or which is like 60-70p a month, really does help out the channel. Alternatively, if you don't want to do it through Patreon, buying your figures and paints and things through Element Games, and that'll save you 15 to 25% off. All you have to do though for that is just click the affiliate link in the description of this video, and that'll take you to this web store, and then that will tell them that you've obviously found them through me, and that will help out the channel too. It doesn't cost you any more to do that. You just have to click the link. Let's go on over to the community website then, where of course, because I didn't do a video last week, there's been quite a few things happening, quite a lot actually. So if we look at it from sort of 2 weeks ago, the 8th of June, let's say, going all the way back then, they had a little look at the General's Handbook 2019, which I think is out now. The Battle Sister Bulletin coming soon to a Warhammer Day near you. Your chance of getting the first Sisters of Battle model, the Sister Superior Amalia Novena, on the Warhammer Day, which is the June the 29th. Unfortunately, I'll be in London next weekend on the 29th, but I have pre-ordered this model and I will be doing an unboxing and review of her. If you can make it to your local Warhammer shop and try and sort of push them away from them trying to sell you anything, which they always do, even if you're a regular, don't let them bully you ever into buying anything in the stores. But going off back on the topic at hand, you can get this model in the store next week on the 29th. And then if they do run out, you can pre-order her. So that's all right. So that's the big sort of news that I've dragged out of this. You had a rumour engine with some kind of pointy sword, looks like an orc swordish. Apocrypha Necromundus, Heretics Roll, Den of Heresy. So you're looking at Chaos in Necromunda. You can paint your own Funko Pop on Warhammer Day. So on Warhammer Day, you'll have some of those in store to paint, which is a really cool idea, and I'm pleased that they've actually managed to do that. Who are the Emperor's Spears? A little bit look at the Black Library and these Space Marines. Stunning bit of artwork there. Looks like he's been shot out from lots of places and he's just pointing a spear. Moving up, there's more articles dotted about surrounding the General's Handbook 2019. There's a regimental standard, of course. There's a little look at the Warhammer Citadel and Warhammer World and what's new there. They had a tournament where you could get the Primaris Space Marine Lieutenant, which is pretty good. There's a new menu, and they have new ciabatta sandwiches and fresh salads, so that's good. I like the fact that they're going in that direction too, because before the menu was very, very kind of meaty. Forge World last weekend pre-orders, there was the Delac sort of upgrades, 15 new heads, and also 2 new dome runners, local guides able to root out treasures for you, and then I think that's an ammo jack. And they can be found in the Gangs of the Underhive supplement. Andy Wardle did a article on contrast paint. More General's Handbook, more Ever Chosen, new book from Black Library, Soul Wars and Emperor's Shield. Obviously last weekend you could pre-order the General's Handbook, so it should be out today. Coming soon, Power Unbound, Prepare for the Apocalypse. So all this week they've had these Apocalypse articles. I think from the previews and the prices and things, I think it's going to be £60 for the book, the cards and the dice, which is ridiculously expensive in my opinion. But you know, they are bringing out these movement trays, which you know will certainly help you play just normal games, I think. They've also announced these Apocalypse battalions, which I think are £100 each. So you know, the Imperial Knight one, you're essentially getting, you know, both of those armigers for free. I think they're all £100. I think MathsCat wants me to do some kind of saving on these sets, so stay tuned to the channel, because I love doing these kind of things where I look at them and see just how much you save with all the models in these kits. So yeah, if you haven't had any of these or you fancy a new army, this might be a good way of getting an army in a box almost, or at least a force in a box. I don't like some of the kits where they've got the same model, like obviously you've got 3 tech priests there which are exactly the same, unfortunately. The Chaos one looks alright, but it's marred by you know, the really old Chaos Lord and the bikers. Would have been nice if we had a different Chaos Lord or something in there, but it looks like you do get 3 sets of Space Marines and what, 2 sets of bikers, and then the old Chaos Lord, so 37 miniatures. Yeah, that then makes sense, doesn't it? And then you've got a Primaris one. Again, I think they're missing the ball a little bit. If they'd released or created a brand new miniature, like some, you know, a brand new miniature, like a brand new HQ or whatever in each of these sets, they would sell them, because that's what they've been doing with all the other sort of box games. I like the Tyranid one, that saves you a fair bit, especially as you get, it looks like you get 2 Carnifexes in there, a Trigon, Tyrannofex, and Hive Tyrant, which is a pretty decent force. I like that. The Necron one looks like it's quite nasty, but it does have that newish Necron Lord in there. And then the Eldar one has got the new little Spirit Seer. That's a nice one. I wonder if you get the Webway Gate in there as well. That would be pretty good. It says 18 models though, so that's 5, 10, 15, 17, 18. I don't think that you get the Webway Gate. That sucks. Awesome if you get that. And then armoured support, they've reboxed the Baneblade. Nothing new with that. That's been around since 2007, so 12-year-old now. Also Primaris, you're getting the new Repulsor. If you thought the old Repulsor was expensive, I think it was like 50 quid. This new one, I think, will set you back £60. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, I'm out. I can't justify £60 on a plastic Space Marine tank. I can't. I really can't. That's just, it's too much. This Mechanicus one looks pretty good. Maybe this is going to be £45, I think. But they should have really just had it at, well, 35 is a bit too cheap. Maybe 40 would have been alright, but 45's, yeah, sort of Land Raider cost. And then Black Library, they've got a 1/40,000 Space Marine Conquest Apocalypse book by Josh Reynolds, and all of these will be up for pre-order next weekend on Saturday the 29th. I can't say I'll get anything. I certainly am not going to get that tank if it's £60. There's no way. And the other Apocalypse things, like the book and things, they don't really interest me as much, even though I've clearly got enough armies and things to have multiple armies of Apocalypse, but it just doesn't interest me as much. But there you go, that's the Apocalypse article. And like I say, what they've done is throughout the week they've had various articles preparing you for the Apocalypse. You've got the specific faction focuses, such as the Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, Store Anniversary exclusives for the next year. That's quite interesting to look at. So you've got a new Space Marine Sergeant Jovan with a chainsword inside an orc. So yeah, another Space Marine, unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately, I've got tons of them. And then you've got different, you've got Bag and Book and, the new female custodian guard. No. So that's those. And then more articles on the Apocalypse, like the Knights. That was a good one. The Orc one was pretty good. And then you've got Space Wolf 1 and Astra Militarum. Some more hobby updates. And then up for pre-order yesterday with from Forge World were the Ebon Keshig Terminators, basically the White Scars ice hockey team with these sticks. They look pretty good. They've even given you a little look at the Power Glaive, which is this weapon. So they've given you some rules for that, which is quite nice. Their full rules can be found in book 8, I think. Because they have all the White Scars rules and things. There's a rules preview for the battle tanks. So the Primaris Repulsor Executioner, that heavy laser destroyer is pretty mental. It's a 72-inch range, heavy 2 weapon, strength 10. So why do we even have Vindicators anymore? It's AP -4, damage D6, and damage roll of 1 or 2 counts as 3, which is, so you're always going to be getting a 3 with damage, which is, we're always going to be getting a damage 3, 4, 5 or 6. And then you can change it to the Macroplasma Incinerator, which is, I think, just the same weapon that's on the Primaris Dreadnought. Also, you've got this Aquilon Optics, which means it can fire twice. And it's got the secondary weapon systems as well. And the Scorpius Dune Rider, it's got 12 wounds. It can carry 10 infantry models, and it moves 12 inches, so that's quite the distance. And then it also goes on to explain its Disruptor Missile Launcher, which is a nice strength weapon. And then you've got 2 different types of cannons. You can have the Ferromite Cannon, which is a long range heavy 3 strength 8 weapon, AP -3 and a damage of 3, or you can go for the increased rate of fire, which is the heavy 3D3. You can have probably 9 shots of this thing at strength 6, AP -1 and damage 2, and it can also fire at targets not visible to the bearer. That's the mean thing here, is that it can just fire at things that it can't see, and then you get an extra toughness if it's got the closed hull. To me it just looks like a cross between the landing craft, like World War II era, and a hovercraft kind of thing. Obviously below there's obviously anti-gravitic plates, I would have thought, but then again on the back it's got those turbofans too, which make it look more like a hovercraft. But you've got the Disruptor Missile Launcher, which is on the front there, and that's all right. So you've got the missile launcher, the stubbers, and the big cannon. I much prefer the sort of animalistic insect type vehicles that Mechanicus are renowned for, but I suppose that there's a place for this, and I'm just happy that Mechanicus have got a transport finally, other than the 412 one, of course. Anyway, that was the big look at those 2, and that was quite an important one past couple of days. Then there's another focus of Legion Demonica, and then Underworlds, and then there was a little video with this lady just explaining a bit more about Apocalypse. I'm not a big fan of her, to be fair, but that's just my opinion. You might really like her, and you might really like the voice and all the rest of it, but for me it just doesn't work. But anyway, that is everything that's been going on in the past 2 weeks. Apologies that that part of the video is taking so long. Let's jump on over to Forge World now and have a look at these ice hockey members. So there is only one pre-order, and that is these White Scars Legion Ebon Keshig Terminator, £60 here. That's the same price as the other kind of Legion specific, I say chapter specific, Terminators from Forge World, £60. So you're looking at what, £12 per model, which isn't too bad considering sort of like characters are typically £25 or so. So they're half the price of characters, but you know, with a fair amount of detail. I'm not a huge fan of them, mainly because of the power glaives. Also, this Keshig has got this kind of cloth thing that makes it look like he's holding like hockey gloves. I mean, they could have, and this guy's pose here, I mean, come on, this guy, that's a pure defensive kind of pose. I mean, this guy's not too bad, the sergeant, but they could have really had them in like two-handed poses, better two-handed poses, like swinging the power glaive down and up or down and across diagonally. They really could have pushed the boat out, but I'm not a big fan, unfortunately. I mean, and also, are they going to sell well? You know, with White Scars, they really need to push the fast-hitting models, like all the jet bikes and the land speeders and things out quite soon, because, well, if I was a White Scar player, I don't know whether I'd get them, but they are here. They're £60. You can get them from Forge World. Let's jump on over to Games Workshop, where I already clicked the pre-order button, as you can see. But if we just hit pre-orders now, so last weekend we had all the contrast paints and things. You know, apologies that I couldn't cover them last week, but if we go high to low, you've got a few kind of reruns. I mean, this is like adding to cart. I think Radagast the Brown was available before. This is web store exclusive. Then you've got the General's Handbook 2019, £45. You get a load of cards, you get some tokens and things. I think you get tokens. Let's just have a look, see what they've put on here. It says plus about this edition. You get the deck of cards, battle plan cards, double-sided token sheet. There you go. This doesn't say anywhere how many pages it is. That's disappointing. Well, that's the General's Handbook. You can also order this really cool Cave Drake. That looks pretty funky. You've got the Plague War limited edition for £40. Typically they're always limited edition. Then you've got these store exclusives, which have been around before, which is the Ranger Captains Faramir, Madril and Damrog, Warriors of the Fiefdoms, Lords of Umbar. The General's Handbook, just a normal edition for £20. Gloomspite is now in hardback. You can pre-order that. Balin, King of Moria, and Flory Stonehand. You can have them. Store exclusive. Shield of the Emperor is available for paperback, but for a whopping £15. That's a huge amount. Warhammer Underworld's Power Unbound. Death's Mercy on CD. And Army of the Dead Banner Bearer for £12. I wonder if he's metal. Be interesting. Soul Wars is now in paperback for £9, and then you've got White Dwarf in all the publications, and if you haven't already seen it, White Dwarf June, I've did a video I think on Wednesday. I went through that whole magazine. Essentially there is a battle report with Primaris and Gene Stealers, but it primarily focuses on Age of Sigmar and Fire Slayers. I was hoping there'd be some kind of contrast article in there, but maybe we'll get that in July's edition. So there you go. That's all of the news and pre-orders from Forge World and Games Workshop. Not a huge amount. Obviously next weekend is going to be massive with all of those Apocalypse sets dropping, and the first Sisters of Battle model. But I will be posting pictures on there because, again, like I say, I'll be in London. Anyway, thank you ever so much for all of your patience with all the content over the past few weeks. I know it's been a bit up and down, but I do appreciate your support as always. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.